Growing up in the streets of London, I've seen some pretty dark things. From stories of drug abuse and sexual violence to gang culture and suicide. Most of these issues remain a taboo within the Muslim community, but I want to explore these issues, how they affect Muslims, and what we can do to change them.
According to an independent article, last year in London alone there were 132 deaths due to knife crime. Since January to August 2019 in London, there have been a further 86 deaths. Over the last year, there have been recorded a further 43,000 incidents involving knife offences. Unfortunately, when I was growing up, I too fell trap to this lifestyle of knife crime and gang violence. So I'm here to talk to my brother about a situation which occurred when we were younger, which unfortunately led to him having a knife scar across his face. We're here obviously in Woodlands, a little bit of our stomping ground. We're here mainly obviously to talk about when we were young and the incident which happened, which obviously led to you getting a scar from a machete on your face.
I was made aware, let's say, that there was a problem going on involving you. So obviously natural big brother reaction is maybe try to be a little bit of a hero at the time, but yeah, obviously your worries, your feelings, everything.
So it was a protectionism?
Yeah, obviously, yeah. It's your little brother. And I didn't obviously know what was happening. I just got a call saying, you better come quickly, something's happening.
But you're seeing me now in a full-blown fight. And again, I was 15, and these are three kind of they were about 19, 20 years old, these guys, you know what I mean? 18, 19, something like that. But the point was they were grown men compared to me.
Yeah, I saw you trying to fend off there was two guys. I stormed in, and I remember vaguely, I just knocked two of them out, and then he was left. And then he panicked, because obviously his friends had disappeared. He panicked, and then he pulled out this knife, machete, whatever you want to call it. It was quite a big thing. I think he cut me on my nose, here. This one was the sort of deeper one.
We had another occurrence after this, right? A quick rematch almost, because the vengeance factor, our egos or whatever, thinking, if I bump into him again, I knew, at least I was thinking, I don't want to keep getting jumped. So I need to stamp my authority here and say, yo, don't mess with me. Which again, in some way, could be short-sighted and stupid, because I know these guys carry weapons. So again, I could be ending my life here. But the fear of constantly having to look over my shoulder almost propelled me more to do so and have that repeat fight.
They knew that we were looking for some sort of retribution, if you like.
Yeah.
Because they had run off and whatnot, and I'd obviously been left with injuries and what have you. Eventually, he turned up, because I think even from his point of view, he was like, well, I don't want to be looking over my shoulder the whole time either. It's just like, this is just getting silly, because this was going on like a month now. And I said to him, I was like, look, let's just sort this out, because it's stupid. I don't want to be running around looking for you. You don't want to be running around looking over your shoulder. And this is almost a conversation we had. I was like, let's just sort this out as men. We'll just have a one-on-one. Forget your boys, forget my boys. And we'll sort this out. We actually got one of my mates to pat him down and search him for a weapon, and I remember looking at his face, he was just thinking, this is just so weird. It was a bit too organised, if you like. A bit of a fight, a few minutes, whatever. I was, let's say, dominating, and then he panicked again, similar situation, and he had, at this point, he
wore a sleeve basically,
he'd hit it quite well. Anyway, the same knife he pulled out. I knew this would happen, or I suspected this would happen, and obviously I'd hid.
You gave me basically a weapon. I had the weapon, we gave it to you. So now you have the weapon, he has a machete, you have this metal tool in your hand.
And there was
what's going down
well, we were almost standing like this, maybe a few further feet apart.
Yeah.
I remember telling him, hey, look, if we go on with this, one of us is going to die. Like, if this continues.
Real talk.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm not willing to die at this, you're not worth it, essentially. It's like, I'll either end up killing you, or you'll end up killing me. And both, I don't want either of those outcomes. It's just not worth it. And it was almost a weird way, it was almost a mutual respect, and we left it at that, and sort of went our separate ways, didn't hear from each other ever again. But I think at the end of it, you sort of felt like you made your point, and that it was done. It was like there was no need to take it any further.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, it's the amount of stress you put your family through, and you don't, like I said, you don't, at the time, you don't think of all the consequences, but you don't know what that does. You know, like I said, every time you left the house, and this was going on for years, it's like, every time you left the house, you come back, you know, your parents will always be worried, like every time you leave, something's gonna happen, you're gonna come back, and only as you grow older, you realize what kind of impact that has, and if you have your own kids, you know, that's when I guess you'll realize that even more. There's so many instances this year, like, people are just not that lucky. I'm lucky I'm still standing here. At some point, you've got to take a step back and think, is this really me? Is this in my life? Is this what I want for myself?
What advice would you give to young people out there who are going through anything similar, you know, whether it be that guy who thinks he has to be responsible for all his friends and stand up to everyone, or it be the young person who's fearful and gets forced into a situation where he thinks he has to carry a weapon and get involved in this kind of activity?
Consider your options, you know, and think there is solutions to most of these problems. You know, when you're young, it's hard to see that, but seek the advice of someone older, talk to people about it. Don't try and think you can deal with everything yourself, because, you know, somebody comes at you, surprises you, catches you unaware. You know, there's not a lot you can do to defend yourself in a lot of situations, and you just don't know what the consequences could be. These things go through your head for years afterwards. What if this, what if that? And the people that it's impacted, and these thoughts do affect you. We got lucky, and most people don't get so lucky.
So I guess on reflection, what advice can I give to a young person who possibly is going through the same situation I was when I was young? Think before you act. A lot of the time I got dragged into situations whereby, as I said, it didn't even involve me. And the person who I was trying to protect probably couldn't care less whether or not I actually put my life on the line for them or not. It just wasn't worth it. I sacrificed so much. I nearly lost my life on multiple occasions, not to mention my brother's life and the consequences for my family. So I guess ultimately the question we need to ask ourselves is this: do you want to live or do you want to die? I know which I would choose. It's just not worth it.